Looks like it's working. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to an afternoon stream. It's 4:30. Normally we go live quite late in the evening, but today we're streaming in the afternoon because I got a lot of stuff to do this evening, and today we are talking about Jagerholm, which is really cool. Mike is good. Yes, Matthew. Thank you. Every so often it just decides that it doesn't work anymore, so I have to do that just to make sure it works. Good afternoon. Hey. So, I hope everybody is doing well. Yes, today we are talking about Jagerholm because Dark Fantastic Mills make the best terrain on the planet. They absolutely do. Every single piece that Dark Fantastic Mills makes could be a diorama. That's the thing. I look at it and I think this is diorama terrain, right? And you've got a new Kickstarter at the moment, and there's only 2 days left on it. 70 something hours. We're going to check it out. I've got a piece of it here, which I've primed black today. So we're going to be painting some of it. We're going to be doing it really quickly, because I haven't done any kind of classic rush painting in a while, and I wanted to do some. So we're going to be doing that today. I've got one of the smokestack things. Here it is. I've also got one of these houses, which will, well, it's a barn, this one, which we will have a look at in just a minute. I'm going to pull the website up. And I've also got one of these absolute beauties. Look at this. Look at how big this thing is. Look at how amazing this is. Look at this thing. It's absolutely incredible. That smelter looks rude. It does, doesn't it? And good afternoon, Philip, Castle Rock, Mark Watson, Stephen, Cameron, Peter, Captain Manrings, Rob Paul. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Do you like my smelter? You can also use it. It doubles as a really bad telescope. As you can tell, I haven't primed the underside of it. I just didn't simply ran out of time. So we're going to be painting some of this up using some speed painting techniques that I was taught a while ago for painting terrain to get it looking awesome. Now, what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to drop the link here, and it would be awesome if you could back it. I'm going to drop the link here. This is the Kickstarter. There it is. Now, for those of you who like to 3D print at home, there are STLs you can get. We shall look at it together in just a second. I just have to... There we go. Bosh. Bosh. There we go. Awesome. So, here it is. So we have Jagerholm. As you can see, 71 hours left to go. They've gone past the pledge, right? Pledge of 1,000, but there's plenty more to come. So as you can see, there's just tons and tons and tons of stuff here available. Some really cool boards and things that you can make out of this. We've got all of the kind of really cool buildings and things, of which I've got some of. So you can see, here's the barn, and here is the smelter boy, and I've got the big boy as well. You get the digital. You can unlock the digital files, the STL, so you can print them yourself at home. But there are physical pledges as well. There's all these lovely walls with gates and things, bonus foundation systems, the cliff system, low hills, and all that kind of stuff. Honestly, Dark Fantastic Mills is where it's at for terrain. If you love terrain, Dark Fantastic Mills makes 100% the best. There is no question of it. So as you can see, we've reached a number of the stretch goals here. But there is still much more left to unlock. Here it is. So we've got the ruined houses, stilts and decking, crab house left to go, L-shaped house, all that good stuff. They've done this before. You might have seen it in the past, the fighting pits and the chaos citadel. But if we just have a quick look at Dark Fantastic Mills. I'll show you their website. I'm already subscribed. This is the type of stuff that Dark Fantastic Mills make. And this is what I mean by everything looks like it could be diorama specific. Because even if we just look in here at the Argent Realm and stuff like that, and see if we can zoom in a little bit. There we go. These floating pylons and things like this. And you may recognize something from Dark Fantastic Mills that is in every single video of mine, in the intro and the outro. It is in here somewhere. We need scenery splats. Anyone recognize this? Anyone recognize that? That is the base of all of my intros and outros, as you can see. There you go. Chaos Citadel, this was their previous Kickstarter. It's just absolutely gorgeous. All of this stuff is just beautiful. I love it very much. And it is awesome. I mean, just look at that. So you can buy physical versions, and you can also buy the STLs for this Jagerholm Kickstarter. I'll just show you the pledge levels, so you can get the physical version of the ruined walls for a pledge of 45, or you can get the digital package, so the STL files, for £48 there. The Jagerholm physical smelter shrines, 48 again. The hills for 52. The houses physical for 58. A vendor license if you're a vendor. And the early birds is done, I think. Physical big bundle, there it is, 158. So in here you get everything pretty much, which is just absolutely fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And we've got it here. Is this the right scale for Warhammer? It absolutely is. It absolutely is, Polska. So as you can see, here is some Warhammer. Here are some of the buildings. So if we just throw in, I mean, even if we just throw in a Space Marine, right? It can absolutely is the right scale for Warhammer. There you go. See, it's a huge amount of space on there. But even for fans of Age of Sigmar, it really suits the setting with, for example, this Fusilier. There you go. Yeah, so it's there. So as I understand it, the roofing is meant to be like large scales of drakes and things from because it's a seaside Nordic town type thing. But the thatched roofs is something you can get on these. Now I've actually just fully assembled this one, so I just added a little bit of glue on here, and it might not look like there's a lot of assembly, and there isn't a lot of assembly on here. And I've also done the same thing for the smelter shrine, but what I've done is I've left this one unassembled because it comes in, as you can see, because I've not primed in there, it comes in these kind of configurations where you can make it as tall or as little as you like. So you can just kind of remove some of the kind of the extra wooden things. If you don't want it in there, you can just pop it in there. Same here, this is all separate as well. This used to be separate, but I left it, I glued it on. These kind of panels as well, they are interchangeable. The doors are interchangeable and things like that. So it's just a highly compatible kit. You can customize it to your whim, which is awesome. And it just slots together nicely like that, giving you a, I mean, this building right here is huge. If I just turn it on its side, Space Marine for scale, where are you? as you can see. So like even if we, again, Fusilier, it gives you a real kind of cool centerpiece to fight around. Even just this small amount of terrain. Just these three. So Dark Fantastic Mills have sent me these three early to play around with and to show off to all of you. And I just, you know, I asked. This is one very few times that I go, look, I love this stuff. I really want to show it off to my guys on YouTube because I think they seriously make the best terrain I've ever seen. And I love it all ever so much. So we're gonna paint some of this. I'll probably paint the barn and the smelter shrine if I get the time. So what we're gonna do here is I'm just gonna epic Space Marines for scale. I don't have any. Oh no, I do. I have a tank. Here is a Rhino tank, and here is the barn. So as you can see, it wouldn't quite work for Legions Imperialis. But yeah. So just gonna pop back to this screen just for the moment. Whoa. How is everybody? Is everybody happy? Everybody good? As always, if you could leave a like on the stream, that would be wonderful. I would very much appreciate that. Let's see if we can break that 50. You want Titan for scale? Yeah, we can do that, Peter. As you know. So here we have most of a Warhound Titan. So here it is. And then we have the Smelter Shrine. Bosch. So as you can see, it scales nicely with the Titan. It's pretty cool, right? Also, the Warhound Titan's pretty sick, isn't it? Peter has done an amazing job building it. We will be painting this soon in a 24-hour stint. So anyone who's excited to see me lose my mind painting a Titan, you will get to see it before too long. Right, I require brushes. So, well, let's just use this large dry. There you go, pledged. Awesome, Peter. Waiting for things to run at work, nearly finished. Soon, TM. It's going to happen this side of the new year. I did briefly think for a minute that it would be fun to do it on New Year. Slap chop. Sort of, not really. So I, a long time ago, worked at Games Workshop. A long time ago. And we went to this workshop, all the things around 8th edition's launch, and part of that, one of the things I had to do for my shop was make a new terrain table to go with the new intercessors and the new Death Guard. And so we learnt how to get terrain done really, really quickly to a reasonably good standard as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint this one up. And we're just going to be using a series of dry brushes, basically. And it's really effective, it's really fun, it's really quick. And we are going to require... In fact, I should really do this on a piece of card, because that'll be quicker. Let's do it on... Oh no, that's a good box, we don't want to use that one. No? Okay, we'll just use this. So, one of the things we were taught was you want to go, firstly, a little bit brighter than you perhaps normally expect. So, for example, for these walls, rather than going for Mechanicus standard grey, we're going to go for Dawnstone, you see. FFS didn't work lurking. Oh. It's still stuck working. So we're going to go Dawnstone, right? And we're going to just wipe most of that off the brush. And then what we're going to do is in circular motions over the top of this, we're going to go clockwise followed by anti-clockwise. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. Really quick. Really, really quick. And then we're going to go on to this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's really, really very, very, very fast. Bosh. So it might not look like it's doing very much, but don't worry. We're going to go on to this one, so we're going to grab a little bit more Dawnstone, wipe most of it off onto the palette paper. Palette paper? It's just tissue paper at this point. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really, really quick. 1, 2. Oh, we need to get a little bit more paint. What happens if you lose count? Asking for a friend. You just immediately go back the other way because you've probably been going for too long. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just literally counting to 4 as the time I'm spending going in that direction. So it's not the amount of spins; it's the amount of time spent, basically. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the less paint you have, obviously, the more of a dry brush effect you're going to get. But I'm going for a slightly heavier dry brush here at the moment because what we're going to do is going to add some shades in a minute, but we need to get all of the colours on. So we're just going to go in here like this, get this over the top. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Looking good. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Marvellous. So that's all of our rock done, right? For the moment. I'm doing well, Laminated Pigeon. How are you? Good afternoon, Edward. So there's our Dawnstone done. Now we need a brown for the wood. And I'm going to go for Mornfang. Let's go with that. It's a nice neutral. So we don't even need to wash the brush here. So we're just going to grab that Mornfang. Going to wipe most of it off. Like this. Now we're going to start on the wood. This one we can be a little bit more more typically dry brush. Kind of just catching those edges. Like this. Looking pretty good. Need a bit more Mornfang. There we go. Marvellous. Looking good. Now we're going to go back down the side. Doesn't matter if we get some of this on the rock either. So that will just add kind of a little bit like a... I mean, you can just purposely just like dab some of it in if you want. Just to add a little bit of kind of variation and dirt. Like that sort of thing. Grab a little bit more Mornfang. Played my first D&D campaign today, died 20 minutes into a 3-hour session. Nicely done. How did you manage that? Did you accidentally step into the home of a beholder or something like that? Did you try to solo something? Did you betray your party members and they all decided that it was time for you to die? Did you get like a full death? Or did you go down to death saving throws? Bolt throw to the chest that wasn't even shooting at me. I'm so lucky. Oh, it's always the way. It's always the way. I've had it before in D&D where, as a consequence of somebody else's actions, I've ended up being blown to smithereens. It's never fun when it happens, but it does happen. As one of the things I quite liked about Baldur's Gate 3 is just how easy it is to make that happen in the game as well. The best one is Gale's Netherese Orb. There we go. Look at that, we've already got 2 colours down. So, Hey, Bobby Glitzer. Or Giltzer. Glitzer. How often do you go through brushes? Probably once every 2, maybe 3 months. I have to get new brushes. This large dry brush I've had for a while, though, because I rarely use large dry brushes. Very rarely use them. So, here's what we're going to do for the roof. We've got all that scaly dragon skin. We're going to go for a kind of a bluish thing. Right? So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to go for Stegadon scale green. Because I haven't used it in ages. Hi, Dave. Good afternoon. Stegadon scale green. It's a lovely paint. It's nice and dark. I know I said you usually want to go a little bit brighter, but we're going to go with Stegadon because we're going to brighten it up afterwards. So I'm going to just, again, same brush, not worrying too much about washing it off just yet. We will wash it off, but now we're going to take the Stegadon scale green. And now we're going to go back to that kind of circular motion. Like this, going 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go back the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4. See? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we need some more Stegadon scale green. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to form a really nice base for us. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And obviously it's not an exact science. Gonna give that a quick. Well, I mean, this is the thing, Dave. You're a fan of a diorama. I think Dark Fantastic Mills' terrain and indeed Jagerholm is great for people like you because all of the terrain they make is just unbelievable. I believe you bought from there before, haven't you? On my recommendation. There we go. A little bit more steggy. Elikman. This is from Jagerholm, which is the current wonderful Kickstarter from Dark Fantastic Mills. The link is in the description, and we will go back and examine it in just a minute. I'm just going to get this building done, and then we'll go back and have a look at it. But there's only a couple of days left on the Kickstarter, and it's got all this fantastic terrain. So they've sent me a couple of bits early for me to have a go with and to show off to all of you, because I begged. I was like, please let me help. Please let me help do the Kickstarter. I love your stuff. I use it in all my videos. There we go. Right. So, there we go. Now, you could consider that done, but it's not. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to add a little bit more brightness in here and a little bit more shade. So, 3 paints. We do have some metallics as well to do a little bit later. But for now, this is okay. This is looking good. So, do we do a little bit more brightness? Or do we do the thing first? We'll do a little bit of shade. So, a really good pair of stuff for shading is Nuln Oil, Athonian Camo Shade. Right? Using these two together, and using a little bit of Agrax as well. So using these three shades, you can make some really, really cool Nuln Oil, Athonian, and Agrax. And what you basically do here is you just kind of alternate between them. And we're just going to stick to the rocks for now. So we're going to take Nuln Oil on our brush first, and we're just going to add a pile of it just like that. Like that. Then we're going to grab some Athonian Camo Shade. Add that in there. Like that. Wash the brush. Grab a little bit of Agrax. And pop that in there. Like that. Really is that simple. A little bit of Nuln. Let's just throw that on there. Get it on there. Wash the brush. A little bit of Athonian. Throw it down around there, like that. Wash. Grab some Agrax. We'll pop it in the top corner. Like that. Now we're going to grab some Nuln. Throw this over the top of this side until we run out on the brush. That'll do. Wash. Grab the Agrax. Throw it on there. Wash. Grab Athonian. Ooh, that was way too much. Add a little bit of it just in that corner. Wash the brush. Now I'm going to just kind of mush it all together on the model. There we go. 2 more sides left to go. Wash. Nulled. We'll do it on this side as well, might as well. Throw on that null oil. Wash the brush. Bit of Agrax. In the middle there. And do it in the middle there as well. Wash the brush. Athonian Camo Shade. Throw it in. Wash the brush. And then finally, I'm just going to throw some null on here. Like that. Marvellous. So, whilst we're waiting for all that shading to dry, are there any good contrast-friendly primers that work through an airbrush? Well, I don't really know. I don't really airbrush, Alec man. Any primer should work, as long as it doesn't have a glossy finish. As long as it's kind of more towards the satin / matte primer. So now, just gonna, I hope you don't mind, Mr. Titan, just gonna reach between your legs. I'm now gonna take some Sotek Green, which is quite vivid. And I'm gonna do a bit more dry brushing on the roof of the house. To add a little bit more kind of colour, a little bit more pop. But this time, we're going to be a little bit more gentle with it. Because we've got all of our base coats down now. It is so much fun just to paint some terrain. I always think I'm not going to enjoy painting terrain. So whenever it comes to like any terrain sets that come as part of like the Games Workshop boxes and things, which people ask me for tutorials for, so like the orc terrain and things like that, I always think, oh god, I've got to get through all of that. And then I start doing it and I'm just like, do you know what, this is actually a lot of fun. go. Yeah, the Jagerholm hills are very, very nice. I'm going to be getting some 100% because I think they just add the system's really clever, and I think they look really great, and they just add a lot to what you're kind of to your gaming tables. Terrain can look really effective with very, very simple scheme. So I mean, even just for example, the roof of that house already popping, but we'll just add a little a little bit of a highlight on it with some Temple Guard blue. So now if I take a little bit of this, just a really small amount, running out of space. And if just the gentlest of touches with the Temple Guard blue just adds a little something. The thing I really like about a lot of Dark Fantastic Mills' terrain is that it is quite system agnostic a lot of the time. Some of it is like very much like based in sci-fi or in fantasy, but with these you could get away with it being system agnostic. It doesn't have to be AOS. I mean, it is, I think, hands down some of the best terrain for AOS. There's no question of that. But the hills and things, 100% system agnostic. And look at that. It's already looking great. So we can add some elements of dragoning in here if we wish, by just taking some Druchii Violet here. How awesome is that? A dragonhide roof. Exactly, Marcus. It's sick. So we take a little bit of Druchii Violet, not very much here at all, and we just, in patches, add a little bit of Druchii Violet. Like that. Add some in here as well. Creates a little bit of visual interest. Again, we're not looking to like kind of really ram this into the recess or anything like that. We're just looking to add some little patches of the purple. Like that sort of thing. Really simple, really small, really subtle. So, just whilst we're waiting for all of that shade to dry, what we're going to do is we're going to pop this to one side. I don't really have any spare sides, so we just pop it just down there. We will come back to that one, and we will, in a minute, work on the shrine as well. So here, where's my dry brush? Let's use this one. So what we're going to do here is we're going to once again go for Dawnstone. Only so we're going to once again go in that circular motion, clockwise, followed by anti-clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see I've got a little hint of that Sotek green in there, but that's okay, because it's only really coming out on top of the recesses. That's all right, that's fine. Not recesses, edges. That's just going to add a little bit more visual interest to our rock. A little bit more Dawnstone. Whoa. Almost there. I need a fresh bit of towel. You absolutely do need to get some of the hobby collab. Only a couple of days left on the Kickstarter. The link is in the description. There we go. Now we just need to do the rest of the rings. Going clockwise, followed by anti-clockwise. Just gets the most consistent dry brush. in the world. Because this one is mostly rock, we're not going to have any other kind of real eye-catching colours. We need to take this one a little bit brighter than what we've got here, which is exactly what we're going to do in just a minute. And again, you can print your own versions of this if you pledge now on the Kickstarter by pledging for the STLs. If you're into your hobby, if you're into your 3D printing. And there are, of course, physical versions as well. I love this stuff. Do you have any plans to cover basing ideas for different sectors / theatres of war? That is something I can certainly look at doing, bud. I've got some spare 28mm bases. We can certainly look at that. Is that something you'd like? Might do that in a live stream. Guys, if you're not already as well, I should just point out, go and subscribe to the Hobby Collab. It's a pretty cool channel over there. Yeah, for sure. This is regular Dawnstone, not the dry version, no. I do have a pot of the dry stuff, but the dry paint of Dawnstone I don't think is anywhere near as good. This stuff is just... I mean, I love Dawnstone, as you all know. Use it all the time, constantly, to highlight any black details. Which is exactly what we're doing today. I've just realised. You're very welcome, the Hobby Collab. You popped up in my recommended a little while ago, and I was like, do you know what? I'll throw this on. The content I mostly watch, have time to watch, is stuff that I can put on whilst I'm filming. So I don't generally tend to watch a lot of kind of like stuff that requires my attention, like a battle report, for example. So painting channels are obviously ideal, or podcasts, they're usually quite good. Once the Dawnstone is on, we're then going to take some Administratum Grey. Bosh. So now we're going to throw this on there, but we're going to be quite gentle here, more traditional dry brush. We're going to go like this. Coming down. Looking to pick out the edges. Because Dawnstone and Administratum Grey are the ultimate duo for highlighting anything that is black or grey. It's looking pretty good. A little bit more Administratum. This does feel like a bit of a workout, but not in a bad way. A little bit more Administratum. Exactly. There we go. So now we've got the stone of our actual smelter looking pretty cool. However, we need to add a little bit of distinction in this rock here because we don't want it all be the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Carrack stone, wherever it is. There it is. We're going to use Carrack stone here to add some legally distinct colour to the kind of ground rock here. So I'm going to go for slightly more circular dry brush over the top. That's absolutely fine. Just like that. Ooh, missed a little bit just on that corner. There we go. And now we're going to put in our other house here. And we're going to gently dry brush this over the top of the wood. Just add a little bit of a highlight here. The music has gotten quite suddenly intense. And I'm not into it. There we go. We're looking pretty good. So now comes the pièce de résistance. You guys know which paint I like to use on all my bases, right? Well, the reason I use Tyrant Skull on everything is because it's a great unifier, but it's slightly darker than the one paint that I am actually going to use next to finish off all the wood and all the stone, and that is Screaming Skull. Yeah, Tyrant Skull. See? Philip knows. So Screaming Skull is how you add a nice light point to any colour on terrain. So you just take some Screaming Skull and you're very gentle with it here, you see. So we'll do it on the smelter first. So you're very, very careful now. And you just add this. You can use Screaming Skull to dry brush anything really, because it's like an off-white highlight basically. Gosh, that feels satisfying to do. Yeah, pale sand. As long as you're really gentle, you don't scuff it. Oh no. That was very nearly a disaster. We managed to avoid it just at the last minute there. So as mentioned, I do have some metallics to do on this. As you can see, we've got all of this kind of banding and stuff around here. That is one thing that we need to come back and do in just a minute. But otherwise, that is the smelter basically finished. So similarly on here, so we've got a slightly darker stone, right? Surely Screaming Skull's not going to work. Oh yeah, it is. You can use it on the wood as well. On the little bits of ground just there. You can even use it on the scales. See how it just elevates but doesn't destroy? It gives it that kind of, it's almost just like a dusty finish. And there it is. Let me just check what's going on with the white balance here just for a moment, because that should give you a slightly better indication of what it looks like. Not bad, is it? For an hour and 13 minutes. If that. I don't know how long we spent chatting at the beginning. And so, like I said, there is some metallics you can do, or you could not do them. The choice would in fact be yours. And so if we grab some miniatures. Ow. Could do something like that. We can have a Gorger Moor pack here. Come to be mean. And then we can have our Wildercore hunters here to prevent that said meanness. Like that. Oh, yeah. For those of you interested, last night I finished off Orakan the Diviner. Do you know what? For fun in this scene, let's throw in Orakan. He's here. Hey guys, what's going on? I haven't done the translocation shroud yet. I'm sorry. That's tonight's job. How did you do the wood? So the wood is it's all prime chaos black. Then it's dry brush with Mornfang brown. Then it's dry brush with Carrick stone, and then the whole thing is dry brush with Screaming Skull. I know as well, because this stream loves him. This video is coming out this week as well. The Sidonian Scatros. But yes, that video will come out in a couple of days. But just for a quick rest. we shall once again have a quick look. So as you can see, whee, 70 hours left to go. Well, I don't know what's happened there. Bruh. There's a variety of different ways, of course, that you can paint things. Here's all the core digital files for all of you 3D printers out there. I mean, look at that. Right there. That's what you like to see. Just a very nice fantasy-based table design right there. That just looks fantastic. Here are all the physical pledges, where you can get the smelters, the hills, and the houses in the big bundle. Shingle roofs are an option. So we go rewards. You can get the ruined walls. Where you can add on trees, fighting pits. Add on another set of physical ruined walls, the hills, the STLs for the Chaos Citadel. The digital pack, should you wish to get it. There's 10 items included: the Smelter Shrine, the Queen's Ore, Modular House, 3 panel types, Small House Shack, Barn, Walls with Gates and Battlements, Wooden Walkways, Lean-to, Cliff System, Low Hill. You can get the physical shrines, which is that one that we've done. This guy. You can get the hills. Get the houses. There's a vendor license. You can sell it yourself, I believe. And then you got the early birds one that's gone. There's none left of the big bundle. There you go. Where's my chat gone? I've lost your chat. Do you have any replacement for Carroburg Crimson? Yes. Carroburg Crimson. Volupus Pink, if you thin it down with 3 parts, 2 or 3 parts contrast medium, looks very similar to the old Carroburg Crimson. Magos Purple as well works. It depends how far you want to go. Do you want to go warmer pink or closer to purple? There's your 2 choices. You've actually got a lot more choice than over the old Carroburg Crimson. And the new Carroburg Crimson is very good. I use it all the time. I believe I used it on the Gorger Moor pack, in fact. To do the slight bruising around there. legs and things. It's very good, Caribou Crimson. Berserker Bloodshade is good as well. For all of your painting needs. Got a loose hair. I have many of those. 33 likes, guys. You're smashing it. Can we get 17 more? If you haven't already, could you like the stream? I mean, things like the new shades, they do still tint. They don't all just run straight into the recesses. They just do a better job of doing the recesses, right? So, like, I'll show you on my tester ogre. I believe this is over Wraithbone as well. So this is just Caribou Crimson, the reformulated version. We'll pop it over this arm. There you go. Over Wraithbone Neat. It's very strong. It is a good strong shade. If you thin it down, it's less vibrant. So there you go. This poor ogre. So if you thin it down with like 1 or 2 parts, Lamy and medium, you will get more of a softer pink. But it is still as strong as it ever was, as you can see, just there. There you go. I think the best, yeah, it is a shame there were only 10. Maybe if I message him and be like, oi. Should I see? I'll message him. Put some more bundles up. Died. The reformulated washes are just better. They're just better than the old ones. The old ones just apply a flat color over everything. So they're way more destructive than the older one, than the newer ones. Newer ones are less destructive over other colors, which is where you ideally are using them. If you're using them as the main color, you want to thin them down a little bit, unless it's exactly the right color that you're going for. So like Agrax Earthshade is much better. Oh, excuse me. The new Agrax Earthshade is much better at giving you something that is akin to Rakarth flesh, which is what Contrast didn't really have before unless you thinned down Wildwood. Old Agrax Earthshade just gave you a flat brown, which everyone loved, and I get it. But it's kind of the illusion of shading a little bit is what the old ones used to do, because they are a lot more destructive than the new ones. They're strong on their own, but when you put them over other colors, they are changing the color, but they're not changing the color as much as the old ones did. But that's because the old ones don't run into recesses or anything like that. They don't do that on purpose. There's not a slightly darker collection in the recesses. What you have in the old ones is it's the same flat brown everywhere, so it gives the illusion of it actually being darker in the shade in the recesses, but it's not. It's only darker because you've put a load of brown in there. But there's a lot of brown also on the flat of the armor panel, for example. So what you get with the newer ones is you get much more of a collection of that brown in the recesses than you do on the flat panel, because it's designed to work that way. So the new ones are better. They are just better because they're less destructive. Hey, Mr. Gwatkin. How are you, sir? You okay? You having a good day? Oh, I'm very tired, guys. Very, very tired. I was up very late last night, finishing Oracan. I was also washing some resin for all of you guys. So I was getting Get Off the Road ready for Middle-earth strategy battle games. I was also getting Fulgrim, the demon Primarch form of Fulgrim, getting that ready as well last night. I was painting Oracan. I was building some other miniatures. I was editing videos yesterday. I don't have a video going out tonight, unfortunately, because I'm doing this. We will have a video tomorrow, though. It's probably going to be the Scatros, the Sidonian Scatros. And there will be another live stream on Wednesday. There'll be a video on Thursday, there will be a video on Friday, and there will be a video on Saturday, and there will be a video on Sunday as well. I'm hoping that for the first time ever in Warhipster Studio history, putting out a pile of videos this week, because we've got that lovely bounce of ad revenue at the moment, courtesy of Google and Christmas. I'm hoping for the very first time ever I might actually hit a decent living wage this month. I'm about £100 away from hitting an all-time record on the channel from ad revenue, supers, and memberships. So it's been a very, very, very good month. Thanks, Google and YouTube. Ooh. Christmas made me do it. Yeah. Christmas is always a fun time for me because it means the amount of product slows down for a couple of weeks, but the amount of videos does not. The amount of videos keeps coming thick and fast. So I like to still continue to release throughout the Christmas period, especially on slightly newer models like Fulgrim, because he's released just close enough to Christmas that it might be a Christmas present for a bunch of people that they maybe bought themselves earlier in the year, or were bought for them by their partner, for example, or parents, or brother or sister, or really, really good friend. So I like to keep putting those videos out during Christmas, just so everybody's got fun content to watch and also support. So next Tales is on the 6th of December. Yes, that should be correct. Let me just check the calendar. Yo, Vicious Goose. How's it going, bro? Yeah, next Tales should be on the 6th. Because the deadline is Thursday. How many times has Fulgrim broken? He hasn't yet, because I haven't built him. He's currently having a lovely bath. A lovely bath in the washing up liquid and warm water. Well, it's probably not warm anymore. It's probably cold because I was doing it last night. I like to leave them soak overnight. Get all that lovely release off. I mean, to be fair, when I was looking at it, it didn't look like it needed it, but it's still good practice to do it. Like, the Get Off the Road resin is unbelievable. It's unbelievably good. It's so detailed, and it looks amazing. It was so clean. So fresh and so clean. It's good stuff. You won't be there for Tales. Okay, Rich. No worries. I shall... Ah, good. As long as you've got a submission, you'll be there in spirit. I need to poke Adam and Rich just to make sure that they're also going to... that they are going to be available for next week's Tales. Because if they're not, I'm going to have to ask members of the community if they want to be the judges. Or we'll delay it a week. If it's just me. Because if it's just me, it'll just sound like the ramblings of a tired old man. This is great. This is even better. Oh, I love this. Oh, I'm yawning a lot. It's not good. I've got lots to do today. I've done about 6 things already. I've got tomorrow's video to edit yet. Let me check my to-do list. Get out of here. Alice might do it. Alice might be a judge. I have to sneak up on her with a request. Actually, no, she can't this Wednesday. She's not. No, that Wednesday she should be able to. Next Wednesday she can't. So. Is it chilly there? Yes, it is. However, I've got this balling new radiator. That heats this room in 5 minutes. If Peter's still here, he's seen how small it is. It's not hard to heat this room. Pre-ordered my Flesh Eaters Army set from local shop. When you think it will activate release? Well, it goes on pre-order on Saturday, doesn't it? And usually these things are 2-week pre-orders. So if it goes on pre-order next week, 14th, 15th. So what's Jagerholm? Well, casual painter. Jagerholm is the new is the Kickstarter that is linked in the description below for these awesome terrain pieces from Dark Fantastic Mills, which we've been painting today on stream. So we did this little barn, house, and we've done this smelter shrine. Painted these up this afternoon in the last hour and a half. Didn't take very long to do it all. I will pull the Kickstarter up again on the screen. Good evening, Scarbrand. How are you? Here is a Warhound Titan head. For those of you who don't know how big they are big. They are the size of one of my glass lenses. This is a plasma blast gun. This is a Warhound Titan. I'm very excited to do this. This is going to be a 24-hour stream, and I'm thinking that we might do it as soon as the 16th. It'll be a weekend. So here's my boy. Here is my Warhound Titan. It's pretty cool, isn't it? It's very big. Yeah, take a look, Casual Painter, because honestly, it's Dark Fantastic Mills make the best terrain ever. Oh, it scales so nicely. I'm terrified to paint this, but the more I look at it, the more I'm getting excited for it. So the head just tucks in there. You need 3 hands to hold it all together. I want to get this bad boy done this year. I want to get this Warlord Titan, not Warlord Titan, I want to get this Warhound Titan done. And then I want to take it to any number of my YouTube friends' channels. I'm gonna message some friends and say who wants to have the Titan on their channel. Oh, you can see my hairline receding. It's not great. I will make loads of pew pew noises with it, Captain Mannerings, as soon as it's fully built and painted. I will also make lots of Jurassic Park references with it. I'll stamp on the table to get ripples on glass and all that kind of on water and that kind of thing. Oh, very itchy nose. So yeah, the only piece that we haven't done this evening, and we're probably not going to because I don't have the time, is this one. So this is the other piece that Dark Fantastic Mills sent me. This is the really big one. This one is as big as the Titan. Yep. So if you want pieces of terrain that are as tall as Warhound Titans, Dark Fantastic Mills is where it's at. Look at this thing. It's enormous. It's a really cool centerpiece for I mean, this could be like a wizard's house or something like that. It's very much like a centerpiece model. It's really cool. It's really big. And it's very pretty. Look at it. It's huge. Let me show you what I mean. What are you trapped on? Look at that. It's unbelievable. But it's not as big as Archaon. Nothing is. But yes. A couple of them, that'd set you right. That'd set you right for most boards of terrain. It is as big as my head. And I have a big head. I have a very big head. Because I'm a YouTuber. And also, you know, physically. Let me pop you guys away before you get damaged. In all the excitement. It is early. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I've got a very busy evening ahead of me. But today we have painted this building. And we've painted this building. Because you should all go and get involved in the Jagerholm Dark Fantastic Mills Kickstarter. I'm going to drop the link again. Here. Bosh. 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 Hello, Adam. Can you do some Eldar Craft World sometime, like Guardians in different colours? Yeah, we could do that. We'll probably do that if we get close to when the Eldari Codex comes out. That is the type of thing we can do when the Eldari Codex is on the way. In the meantime, if you haven't already, I do have a ton of Eldari tutorials already. We have things like the Avatar, Striking Scorpions, Swooping Hawks, Janezar, Morgan Ra. It's a smelter chimney, actually. Yeah. Here it is. Here is my smelter tower. It's not dirty in any way. Put it on my head. No. Good evening, Adam. How you doing? Built my Terrorgeist today and just deciding if I want Crypt Flayers or Crypt Horrors. You probably want both, don't you? You've got the points. Unless you're going Gristlegore and then you've got like all of the zombie dragons and Terrorgeists. Hey, would you look at that? 51,450 subscribers. I think we might hit 52,000 this side of the new year. That would be sick. What can you put in it? In this? If you put something on the bottom, it would make a good drinking horn. You could fill it with water. Don't do that. How many craft worlds are there? Who can name them all? Can you blow smoke through it? Probably. There you go. That's going to look like I'm doing drugs. I'm not. Let me see if I can remember what all the craft words are. Baeltan, Ulthway, Alatok. Nope. Eandon. Same hand. That's 5. I can remember 5. Did I get them all? Hoping for some updated Grey Knight models. That would be very nice. I feel like I'm missing one as well. Altanzar? Was that one? The book's confusing because it also has the well, the old book is confusing because it also has the Harlequin masks and troops, whatever they're called, masks, I think maybe. But it also had the what am I thinking of? Nope, it's gone out of my head. Well, there you go. Adam's got them all. He definitely didn't Google them. Well, they don't do sub-factions anymore in 40k. Don't get them. Sub-factions are a thing of the past. Doesn't matter, does it? New books don't care. There's no such thing as sub-factions, so ultimately, it doesn't really matter. You can paint them whatever colour you want. I mean, you could always do that. But sub-factions don't matter. It's done. It barely even matters that there's chapters anymore. As far as I'm concerned, there's 997 chapters of Space Marines that are all exactly the same, and then you have Blood Angels, Space Wolves, and Dark Angels. They're the only ones with different rules now. So, you know. Do you really need Craft World painting videos? Is my question. Because there is now no such thing as Ulthway, Samehan, Eandon, Baeltan, Alatok. Doesn't matter, does it? Black Templars. Do they have a separate thing? Maybe they do. 996 then. Do they have a separate supplement? Are they getting a separate codex as well? Do we know that? Because if Dark Angels are getting one, then we know Blood Angels and Space Wolves are as well. Death Watch aren't a chapter. They're an organisation. Grey Knights are the other one, obviously. But again, completely different. A new Craft World sponsored by EE. Now, we've already done it once. Spy. I'm pregnant. It's yours. Good. I'm looking forward to us raising a child together. Thank you very much for the 10. I don't know if it probably hasn't arrived yet, but your package is on its way. I don't know if it's in the air yet. It might be stuck at a port. But your package is on its way. We shall rear them in the way of the beard. That is exactly what we shall do. Our children shall be hirsute. Thank you very much for becoming a member, Italian Sparker. Guys, if you haven't already, we've talked about him before, because he's an absolute legend. But Italian Spartacus is the place to go for all things awesome. I love his Baldur's Gate 3 videos, his Total War videos, his Dark Tide videos were amazing. Epic poggers, I believe is what they say. I think it's what the kids say these days. Thank you very much for becoming a member, buddy. 329. Let's go, baby. Was it epic poggers? Would you call you an epic pog champ? Is that a thing? That's a thing, isn't it? I hear people say that on the internet. The Bannerlord vids were mint too. There you go. We painted this today, Sparty. We painted this and we painted this on this stream. Because everybody should check out Dark Fantastic Mills for the best terrain ever. Did that in an hour and a half. And I haven't done this one, but it's huge. When are you next coming to the UK, buddy? I saw you posting on Instagram. I don't know if I was just like doom scrolling or whatever. I saw a post where you were saying I used to go all the time, and I was like, "Why? When is that? When is that man coming back here next?" You only use contrast for the roof, right? No, the only thing I did on this, I didn't use any contrast paint on this. This is dry brushes and shades. Did I use a contrast paint? No, just dry brushes and shades. So that was Stegodon Scale Green, Sotek Green, and a bit of Temple Guard Blue. And then some Screaming Skull over the whole lot of it. But what we've essentially got here on this wood is Wildwood. right? Because it's got all the tones of Wildwood in there. It's basically what we've recreated that way. I'm vibing with this beat right now. This is hot. It's nice. Those are cool things that I like. The lore, old gameplay, or old color scheme for. That's why I'm picking my Luminous as a great nation of Helon for AOS. Ah, well, you see, for Age of Sigmar, sub-factions are still a thing. 40k, nope. Does not matter. Which is a shame. If I get invited out to GW for something with them. Alright, well, we've got to make that happen. I'll make some phone calls. I'll say, can you please invite him over for Warhammer Fest? The only one. The only one I care about. Can we get Italian Spartacus here? There are plenty of other creators that I care about, if anyone else is watching. I just want him to hold me. I've seen Bro's arms. Damn. Just be a moment of safety. To be fair, not sure we needed half of the sub-factions we did have. No, I mean, we didn't need them. But, you know, it was nice to have them. It was nice. It was nice when the... It was nice. It was nice when, you know, you had a benefit to being White Scars. Whereas now there is no benefit to being White Scars. Hug me to sleep. Put me to sleep. Oh. I can't breathe. And I love it. I really want to know if there's going to be a Warhammer Fest this year, and I'm surprised that it hasn't been announced yet. Which makes me start to believe that there isn't going to be one, and that would be a shame. Because you can only improve by doing, GW. If you I really enjoyed Warhammer Fest. I thought it was a great time. I got to meet lots of people. And also move quite anonymously at times. A lot of people weren't sure. Some people were just like, are you him? Yes, I am the chosen one. I was meant to bring balance to the painting tutorials, not leave them in contrast. Oh, come on. Stay in the bin. It's not hard. There we go. Nailed it. I think we need to get back to a simplified codex delivery system because we have like 8 different Imperium factions. Yeah, I mean... Yes. Did you put your hood up and pretend to be a youth? No, I didn't actually. I could have done, but I didn't. Look, I think a codex should be an event. I think it should be a milestone, and that's possibly coming from somebody who used to, they used to come out quite sparsely, if at all. Some factions never got codexes. I think Drakari were the ones who were struggling with a 6th Ed codex right up until the end of 7th. But for me, codexes should just be like proper eventful. And at the moment, they don't feel like it. They don't. To me, they feel like a delivery for a very basic avenue for what each army is. And the 10th ones I feel are really light. So like I don't think there's enough in them in terms of what I like to see. I like to see lots of charts and graphs, organization charts and things like that. And I just love that stuff, right? Because I think it's great. I wish there was more of that in all of the books. I don't think there's been enough of that. And also, I just think, with the detachments that we've had in 10th edition, there's an easy way to make them feel like they are sub-factions, just by not imposing, but just like putting some unlockable bonus by fulfilling the detachment the way it kind of is intended. So like there is the White Scars one, which gives you advance and charge or whatever it is, and it specifically affects mounted, but right now the most powerful version of that is with Space Wolves, because that's where they've got the most mounted units. So it's meant for White Scars, but there's no benefit to painting a White Scars army to put into that detachment. You should just play them as Space Wolves using that detachment, which is just bonkers in my mind. And because there's no limitations, it means that the power levels of them are somewhat watered down. So the White Scars one is a great example of it should be a bonkers combat thing for bikes, but it isn't. So they are fantastic. The Space Marines Codex is fantastic if, like me, you have close to 10,000 points of Space Marines and you want to run completely different types of armies using that book. Except mine are all Blood Angels, so I don't want to use that book. But I've got loads and loads of models, so I can make loads and loads of different detachments from that book. And we'll find out what happens when the Blood Angels Codex comes out. But I feel like I shouldn't be able to run Gladius Strike Force as Blood Angels. There's a reason I chose Blood Angels. The reason I chose Blood Angels was because I wanted to be a special combat boy, dressed in red, black, and gold. That's what I wanted. I shouldn't be able to do Firestorm Assault Force, so all my guns are assault. That doesn't make any sense to me. I should live with my choice, and I'm not disappointed by any stretch of the imagination, because I love my boys. What, as in just the rules? Yeah. So I've advocated in the past that you could conceivably create a subscription model for rules, but release a codex as an event book for the faction. So the Blood Angels book comes out and it's like that thick, and it's like the old campaign books for the Horus Heresy, where those books are fantastic because there's just so much detail and so much lore and history and narrative and background in them, as well as like names of people you've never heard of, commanders and units and things involved in the battles. There's loads of stuff in those books, and they're fantastic. And the rules section is generally like 15, 20 pages. Maybe a few more, depending on what's coming out in that one. The one I've got is Inferno, the Blood Angels one. And in there, you've got Blood Angels and Demons units entries for playing your games of Horus Heresy. But then what you have is you have the army books, like the Astartes army list book, or Traitor Astartes and all that kind of thing. So that's where you keep all your rules in your separate thing, which you can then subscribe to, which then becomes a living document. But then a codex book is something that comes out once every sort of 5 years or something, and is a mainstay product where it's just like, here is the history and the artwork and all the cool little narrative bits for it. I think that would be sick. I would buy every single one of those for every faction, hands down. You wouldn't be able to stop me. And then I would just have this rack of 30 books that are just super high quality documents about said faction, where you can just read everything there is to read about them. Like Index Blood Angels. Like, it's like the Chaotica ones that they did. But then you put a subscription on the rules if that's what people buy the books, because that's what people care about. Because the rules are actually like the last bit I care about in the book, usually. That's why I really like the AOS battle tomes. The AOS battle tomes are fantastic because they have a load of different information in them. They give you descriptions of all of the people involved in the books. They give you the history, the timeline, this, that, and the other. They then have a really good section of all of the models, generally other sub-factions that are involved in said thing. Then they have a painting guide where there's tons of different information on how to paint the faction within the books. And then you get to the rules section. And I'm just like, these are fantastic. AOS battle tomes are just superior in every way to a 40k codex. The AOS painting guides are so well done. Exactly. And they've sort of done it in the 40k ones, but what they've given you is they give you as a painting guide for the combat patrol specifically. Whereas the AOS ones, you get like the Cities of Sigmar AOS battle tome is like two, maybe 4 pages. I can't remember off the top of my head. But in there it's got, here's a bunch of different metals, here's a bunch of different woods, here's a bunch of different cloths, here's a bunch of different flesh, this, that, and the other. This is how you paint your entire army, basically. And it's just such a really valuable resource. It is a one-stop shop for the faction. A 40k codex has not felt like that for, well, since 8th. I thought the 8th codexes were great. They didn't have painting guides in them, but the 8th codexes were fantastic. Because what they'd done in the 8th codex is they moved the story forwards, obviously. So you wanted to kind of see where everyone was at. So like the bits of post-Cicatrix Maledictum and the fall of Cadia. It's like, what's going on with these people? And there was quite a lot of fascinating stuff in there. And again, there were still force organization charts and things in there. These days, nah, don't get a force organization chart. I just love a chart, you know? There's a lot of scope for awesomeness. Especially in the books. And I'd love to see more awesomeness, basically. I don't know if I've got any AOS battle tomes to hand. There might be one on the landing. Unfortunately, these are all downstairs. But I haven't bought a 40k one yet. I should buy the Space Marine one, but I just don't. I don't feel like it. I bought the index cards for the demons. But then again, I don't know who I'm gonna if I'm going to attend any tournaments. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm contemplating taking this to a tournament. So this guy is 1,100 points, so you can fit him into a 2,000 point army. So I need 9,000 points of something else to go with my Warhound Titan. I'm thinking just turning 10th edition into a meme edition, basically. So I'll take a Warhound Titan and maybe just 900 points of guard. I don't know where that came from. But yeah. I'm just going to meme it at tournaments. If someone wants to invite me to a 40k tournament, I will bring a Warhound Titan. Behold! The backwards Warhound Titan. Bosh. Good afternoon, Josh. Good afternoon, Jack. Do you have any recommendations on models other than the Lion for a 30k themed redeemed Dark Angels force? In terms of placing them in 40k? I see. Yes. Honestly, you've got so much Horus Heresy gear now in plastic. Probably go with Horus Heresy models. To give a kind of redeemed Dark Angels 40k. I mean, the new kind of Mark 6 stuff and the Mark 3 and all that kind of stuff is much nicer and bigger to paint than it used to be. And obviously, it's all in plastic. And there's some excellent Forge World upgrades and things like that for them. I think the Dark Angels Terminators that they made are some of the nicest ones out there. So let me see if I've got him in here. Are you in there, Mr. Dark Angel Cataphractii Terminator? Should be in here. Is that you? Yes. So, it's a bit dusty. As an example, this guy from Forge World literally fits the bill of your Terminator Captain with in the Leviathan box. That's just the Terminator Praetor, the Dark Angels one. I did a video on that as well. I'm pretty certain. Pretty certain I did a video on this one. Can't remember. Definitely looks like I did. But things like using the Horus Heresy models is ideal for that. Oh, it is the same music track. I'd like to see the AOS hate starting to subside because it is truly is a great system with a lot of great support, models, tomes, rules, everything. 100%. 100%. I mean, come on. I keep doing this. This is literally a meme now. Look. Listen. Guys. Seriously. We had a Warhammer preview where this guy was previewed for Age of Sigmar and this guy was proved for 40k. I mean, get pumped up for Age of for 40k, guys. The AdMech Codex is coming. Oh, and by the way, we've got a dragon for the Stormcast. Anyway, we'll move on. Say what? Hold the phone. Come on. Come on now. Come on now. And I wouldn't make that comparison. I wouldn't make that comparison if they weren't in the same damn video. They weren't in the same reveal. Because it's not fair, right? Now, I think they did a slightly better job with the most recent one, where they went, hey, look, Deathwing Terminators, they're pretty sweet, right? And they are pretty cool. Here is also Asmodai. He's a pretty cool model. He's nice. But we're also going to preview Usharan. Usharan is a much nicer model. Don't get me wrong. The Deathwing are better than Stiltman. So it's like, oh, come on. It is lovely to see AOS having a bit of a, hey, maybe this isn't all so bad. And of course, now Old World is coming. You can't really... If you're mad... If you didn't like Age of Sigmar because you're mad about the Old World, well, Fantasy Battles is dead, but Old World is coming back. So, you know, there's not really any time to be annoyed, is there? There's not really any reason to be annoyed anymore. Because it's coming back. Also with new stuff. With great aplomb. And it's taken a while, obviously. But like, let's... When one faction in 40k is outselling an entire game system, you can't blame them for dropping fantasy. I can't at all. And I think they've done a really good job of kind of slowly testing the water to see if it would be good when it came back. By doing Total War, for example. Total War really kind of just went, hey, are people still interested in this? And naturally they were. No reason to be annoyed. Have you met the internet? I know, Captain Mannerings. I should have realised what I was saying as I was saying it. But I just can't help it. Guys, it's fine. It's all fine. Oh. My headphone port is dodgy on my computer. I need to get it repaired. They're not giving us Gelt. You've already got Gelt. Balthus Aram. Listen to Soul Wars, Rez. Go and listen to Soul Wars. Balthus Aram is Balthazar Gelt. The Lord Arcanum of the Ambers of the Heldenhammer. It's all but confirmed. All it needed was for someone to say, hey, Balthazar Gelt. Say what? What do you need? What do you need, bro? You need some You need some metal magic in your life. I got to attempt to work. Thanks again for everything, man. Your endless supply of videos and encouraging words have single-handedly turned my hobbying around. That's very kind of you, buddy. That's very, very kind of you. I'm more than happy to help any way, any shape, and any possibility that I can. Your videos on Baldur's Gate 3, man, just I just put them on because I just like to listen to them. You keep me entertained for hours on end. When I'm painting all the miniatures in the world. Because God forbid anything go unpainted. You know? Everything. Well, for that you need to go to my only contrast. Only paints. Coming soon to a URL near you. Ah, Elec man, you've hit the nail on the head there. I didn't play it, but I heard horror stories. I could tell you horror stories about every game ever. So yes, when the edition when AOS first launched as a game, there weren't any points. Points weren't a thing to begin with. That was a silly choice. There was no way to do balanced games. There was no way to do matched play. Instead, what you had to do was have a nice conversation with your opponent where you go, this looks fairly balanced. But people are terrible. So what people would do is they would go, let's just do, oh, I don't know, my army, my whole collection against your whole collection. And so somebody might put down something like 100 zombies, and you might put down 15 Star Drakes. Yeah, no, not balanced. Not balanced at all. Games Workshop believed people would be able to have a conversation and play the game in a sensible way, but of course they weren't. So you take the guardrails off, and everyone just went, "Oh well, let's just make an insane version of the game to say it's terrible." Right? So yes, the problem was that there were no points, so there was no way to do matched play. The only way to do match play was to come up with a system, which some tournaments tried by doing a wounds limit. So doing like 150 wounds. But there's different quality of wounds, right? Because somebody with a 3+ save with 2 wounds is better than somebody with a 6+ save and 1 wound. So you could have 150 models with 6+ save and 1 wound versus 75 models with 2 wounds and a 3+ save, which is much better than the other ones. You've got less models, but you've got a much more hardier army. So the 150 1 wound 6+ save models aren't going to do very much. But the General's Handbook came out and that solved it. So yeah, the beginning of the edition was a meme. 8th edition 40k wasn't much better. Now, the other part of reason why Age of Sigmar was very much hated was because it is a different type of game. It's more towards kind of a skirmish war game, large scale skirmish war game than Warhammer Fantasy, which is very much rank and file, massed armies, 300-400 miniatures on the table, going at it. Right? It's a much more simplified game than Fantasy was, which is another reason people were mad. Which is fine, I get it. The same reason people were mad about 8th edition and 7th edition. 7th edition, far more complex than 8th. 8th's a very, very, very simplified version of 40k. There's no longer firing arcs and scatter dice and all that kind of thing, and guess ranges and all that sort of thing. Scattered deep strike mishaps, all that was gone. So 8th edition was a terrible game in comparison to 7th, is what I was told. It's not true. It plays much better. Age of Sigmar, completely different. 25, 30 years worth of background and lore wiped out in an instant. Yeah, it's a reason to be upset. 100%. 100% agree. which was a problem. Which is a problem. It is a problem. That is what happens when you set the world on fire and start again. Another reason people were upset was the speed at which it happened. Because it was like, hey, the end times is here. And you're like, cool. And then they did 3 or 4, I think it's 4, maybe 6 books, something like that. They were not cheap books. But it didn't hang around. The last one didn't hang around long enough to really use. Because the last one, The World Ends, and then Age of Sigmar came out. I think it was like 4 months, maybe 5 months later. It's not enough time to bed in with it, right? So all of this stuff happened. The world ends, and now you got the new thing. There's another reason to be upset. Yeah, 100% valid. However, we can go on and on about the reasons to be upset about Age of Sigmar beginning. However, it's been 9 years. The game is completely different. There's a lot of rich history and narrative going on. Is there as much as the old world? No. It's a new universe. It's a new game system. Of course, it's not going to be the same amount. Is it getting grittier and darker? Yeah, you bet it is. Oh boy. Things like the introduction of Usharan are going to be huge implications for the game. All you have to do is look at the art style of. I always recommend if you still think that your first impression of Age of Sigmar when it first came out is how it is now, just go and look at the front covers of the Stormcast battle tomes from first edition to third now, and it is so different. So different. It is completely different. You know, there's a lot of reasons to be mad that fantasy was ending, and there's a lot of reasons to dislike Age of Sigmar at the beginning. At this point, nearly 10 years later, I feel like it's stood up for itself very well. So whenever I see people go Age of Sigmar is rubbish because they got rid of Tomb Kings and Bretonnians, I'm just like, that was almost a decade ago. Get over it. They're also coming back. Get over it. The best one I saw was somebody complaining about Old World returning because they had basically smashed their Empire army in frustration and in protest. So they'd taken a bat to their Empire army in protest of Age of Sigmar, and are now mad that Old World is returning. It's like, you made the choice, bro. Your decision to destroy your army was yours alone. Nobody told you to do that. So just be mad at yourself for making poor decisions. Are you going to paint a war song Revenant for your Sylvaneth? I will do eventually, yeah. You are absolutely right, easy peasy lemon squeezy. You can't ever please anyone. You can never please anyone. Well, I say you can never please anyone. You can never please everyone. There's no way to do it. It's impossible. Look at me. I'm cross about everything Star Wars does. I know, Edward. But there's a very famous YouTube video of a man setting fire to his 6,000 points of Druki, of his Dark Elves, in protest. And it's looking pretty stupid now. This is just very, very funny. It is very, very funny. Also, just hold on to it and then sell it. No, Captain Mannings, I will not. I will not get into it. But Star Wars is a great example of something that cannot please everyone. It can't please me. I hold it to an obnoxiously high degree. Probably more so than I do anything else. Which isn't fair. I know it's not fair, but I do it anyway. Yeah, if you look up on YouTube, setting fire to Warhammer Army or whatever it is, it's quite a famous one. Hang on, let me see if I can Google it. Man sets fire to Warhammer Army. Yeah, it's 2015. Man has hissy fit and burns dark army in protest over AOS. So yeah, just set fire to it. It might have been even been more. There's a comment here on this thread that says, "I am very tempted to do the same thing. I have over 20,000 points of Empire plastic assembled. Not to mention my Empire stuff still in boxes with its plastic cling film cover and price tags. The only thing that stops me is watching TV shows like Extreme Collectors and Antique Roadshow. Makes me think that this plastic crap may be worth something to collectors in 5 to 15 years' time. Especially the stuff unassembled and still in original boxes with cling film / price tag. Still, it would feel good to burn it all, or I could just give Kings of War a go. Yep, just give Kings of War a go, or try 9th edition or whatever it was, or just wait, and then Old World will return, which it did. Which it is going to. Very, very soon. So, you know. Rian, if you're watching, from your comment in 2015, good news. Important question at Warhipster. What bath should we get? Well, Nancy, that's a very, very difficult choice, isn't it? That is a very, very difficult. What are your choices? Are you thinking brands? Style? I don't know baths that well. I always think like the epitome of luxury is is like a freestanding bath. It's like in the middle of a room. That to me just screams, you know, we're luxurious people. Treat yourself. You know? That's what that says to me. I always used to think as well that having a really long bath was important so that I could lie down in it, because I'm a 6-foot man, right? And most baths I don't get to do that in. But actually, as I've gotten older and sampled more baths as my time, deeper baths are the way to go. Oh, you found the response video, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Maybe the original isn't on there anymore. I mean, you could probably find it. Yeah, I know. It is tragic. It is ridiculous. Found some wider oval ones that Laura seems to like. I don't think I've ever had an oval bath. Death, Holy Death Mourns. There you go. There you go. You found it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy's found it. Setting fire to 12,000 points of Drukari or Druki or whatever it is. This is such a petulant video. I remember watching it years ago and just being like, what's wrong with you? Just sell it. Profit off your rage. Anyway, I think the move with the bath is to get it as deep as you can for optimum soaking. Is what I would recommend. One of the reasons I'm looking forward to staying at my parents' for Christmas is they have baths. We don't have a bath here, we only have a shower. And I'm really looking forward to having a bath. I haven't had one in ages. There you go, ElecMan24 with more advice for you. But it is 10 past 7, guys. I've been streaming for 2 hours and an amount of time. 2 hours and 40 minutes, which is usually how long we go for. Before we go, we will just one last time go and have a quick look. I will remind you all of the Kickstarter for Jagerholm. 68 hours remain. Just refresh the page. There we go. Make sure to pick it up if you can. If you would like some awesome terrain that will transform your Age of Sigmar. I mean, look at this. Just look at that as a terrain set. Unbelievable. Excellent stuff. Just look at it. There are 68 hours remaining. There is a few more pledges left to go, but of course you can get your stretch goals, I should say. A few more stretch goals left to go. You of course can get your own benefits for backing, such as the hills and the buildings and the smelters and things like that. But do make sure to check them out because it is absolutely unbelievable. It's very good. It's very cool. It's very nice. And as you can see today, if you wind back the stream or you're watching this on demand, because I will leave this up, of course, it is really quick to paint this stuff and look really effective. So do go and check out the Dark Fantastic Mills Kickstarter. It'll transform your life. It'll transform your AOS tables for sure. And I will drop the link one more time, well, 3 more times here in the chat. There you go. Do make sure, if you want to, like I said, you can rewind this stream and you can see how I painted these 2 things in an hour and a half. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it. We will be back on Wednesday with another live stream. We'll be back tomorrow with another painting video. Either Orican the Diviner or the Sidonian Scatros. I haven't decided yet. Less than 30 minutes per building, was it? Exactly. You can get a whole table of this stuff done in one day. If you've got friends coming over at the weekend and you've got a day off on the Friday beforehand and you want to get your AOS table looking fantastic, you absolutely can do it in a day. I did it. Spray it, Chaos Black. Various dry brushes, good to go. Anyway, like I said, see you tomorrow for another painting video. See you next week. Oh, well, see you on Wednesday for another live stream. Don't know what we're going to be doing yet. Might be doing some Titan work. Do the SDL files support FDM as well as resin printers? I'm not entirely certain. You'll have to ask them. I don't know enough about 3D printing. But you can get the STL files. That's all I know. If you back the project, but please do, because Dark Fantastic Mills are fantastic, wonderful company as well. Anyway, see you all very soon in the next one. Have a good one, everybody. Thank you very much, Italian Spartacus, for the donation and the new membership. We'll see you on Wednesday. Bye for now, everybody. See ya. See ya. Have a good one. Have a great one. Have a lovely rest of your day. Love you. Bye. Bye. Bye.